and welcome you, O travelers from Upper Egypt.
You will travel no further because you are come. Here, you are at the beginning of time.
Here was conceived and lived the great week of the creation of the world and the separation of the earth from the waters.
Labyrinth of facades and passages, esplanades and corridors, perspectives and detours to which only priests and Pharaoh had access.
But the Egyptian is at ease in the circumvolutions of the divine. He is at home with the science of the beyond. He has a taste for side exits, secret passages, concealed staircases, the phosphorescent gloom of tombs. The vade-mecums, the guidebooks for the journey which accompanied the mummy, are called Book of the Dead, Book of the Gateways, Book of the Caverns, Book of the Night. They are the only books ever to attempt to produce maps of the other world.
More than one resting place was needed for the sacred barks of the Holy Family. So, midway between the sanctuary and the river, I brought into being this edifice, a veritable temple with pylon guarded by colossi, peristyle courtyard, pillared hall, and sanctuary. Henceforth, it shall be here that the 40 tonsured priests in 8 ranks of 5 shall halt, bearing the Ark of God along the way to the landing stage when the time comes for the gods' journey to Luxor, for the festival of Opet upon the high waters. And my temple shall also tell how I conquered the peoples of Asia and Africa.
Yet one day, even the temple of Ramses III was no more than an edifice in a corner of the vast courtyard where we are this evening. The pharaohs came and went. The new year returned in mid-July with the impassive rising of the waters. And during the second month of flood, there was the beautiful festival of Opet.
Then, as every summer, we would have witnessed the passing by of the 3 barks of the Holy Family, borne aloft on the strong arms of men. The bark of Aleph decorated a proud poop with ram's heads.
The bark of Nut is white, decorated with female figures wearing necklaces.
And the bark of their son Khons, decorated with 2 falcon heads, surmounted by the crescent moon. For the bark is the symbol of the movement of the world, the pedestal of God. It is the throne of the Pharaoh, the instrument of war and of building. The civilization that erected the columns and colossi at Karnak was a river civilization.
It was by bark that the rose-colored granite, the diorite and alabaster were brought here, each flood bearing tons of raw stone to be shaped and molded on the everlasting work site.
There is something profoundly moving in comparing the tremulous, almost fluid inspiration of the Karnak workmen and the hardness of the stone in which they wish to immortalize the bending of a reed or the drooping wing of a cormorant.
And also you see bread. So the ancient Egyptians took and offered their gifts to them. You see baskets, then carried on the shoulders of the people or the workers.
The Ka, which is the spirit of the pharaoh, represented as a falcon, always sits above them, and as soon as they die, then that falcon carries their Ka, or their spirit, into the underworld. And this, you can't see the pharaoh here any longer because her son was angry at her for being a queen and ruling over Egypt, so he had her completely stripped off. At the end is the sun god, represented as the falcon head with the sun over top. Here's the key of life in his hand. Of the pharaoh Hatshepsut, eagle-headed sun god. The interesting thing is that this one wasn't defaced.
She spread along the banks of the Nile, a rich capital city, along the horizon of the east bank as far as your eyes can see, enveloping Luxor upstream and the fronds of her palm trees. Karnak, the obscure, the mysterious, from which she drew the leaven of her power. 100 trumpets shrill thy name, O Thebes, and echo thy beauty.